Out of all the characters in Smash 64, perhaps the one with the most interesting history in the series is Yoshi. While his own series has grown quite a bit since his debut in Super Mario World, he'll always be known as Mario's trusty sidekick, no matter how many times the plumber kicks him into pits. Today though, we'll be looking at the Super Smash Bros. Series to see just how phenomenal this Green Dino's performance was, taking a look through his tough low points and those few who stuck with him to the bitter end. In Smash 64, Yoshi is perhaps the most unique character in the game. This is due to his overwhelming amount of tech and fundamental differences to the rest of the cast. To start, Yoshi's double jump is one that he shares only with Ness. His iconic flutter jump has been ported to Smash, and is one that stalls him for a second, dipping downward before rocketing up. Due to a glitch, this double jump can be cancelled with an aerial during its startup, keeping Yoshi's momentum downward and letting him input aerials very quickly. This helps him pressure shields, giving him good shield break setups in conjunction with Smash 64's insane shield stun and his down air flutter kick. It also helps his aerial combo game since he can use aerials faster than any other character. This double jump isn't without its drawbacks though, since Yoshi is one of the only two characters in the game to have an up B that doesn't give him height. This move is Egg Throw, giving Yoshi a projectile that can pressure opponents off stage and occasionally can be used to zone. However, this also makes him exploitable off stage. While Double Jump does have super armor, letting him power through attacks, and goes farther than some characters' up specials, it's also his only method of recovery, and he doesn't get it back upon being hit. This can make Yoshi exploitable off stage, as stuffing out his jump can be all you need to close out a stock. Luckily, Yoshi's movement is nothing to scoff at. His airspeed pairs well with his double jump cancel, or DJC, alongside giving him a solid horizontal recovery. He's the third heaviest character in the game, and while this can pair with his somewhat large frame to make him easy to combo, it gives him longevity. Yoshi also has respectable ground speed, making him a very solid character off his stats alone. One of Yoshi's strangest attributes is his shield, which, contrary to the rest of the cast, surrounds Yoshi in his egg, which doesn't shrink like the rest of the casts. Instead, it gets darker to notify when it's close to breaking, and also lasts longer than other shields. As a trade-off, he has more end lag when he gets out of shield, though he can jump out of it for good pressure. Yoshi has a technique in this game called Shield Counter, where he shields on the same frame an attack hits him, letting him pop out of his shield immediately to counterattack. It's very tough to pull off, but very rewarding when you do. Yoshi has a very potent combo game and some very solid KO moves. His DJC aerials pair well with moves like forward tilt to let him rack up damage quickly, and his up tilt can lead into his back air at higher percents to let him close out stocks. Yoshi also has a tether grab, though, like its counterpart in Link and Samus's grabs, it's incredibly laggy and is even shorter than those two. Yoshi's strengths were not seen early on in Smash 64's competitive life. He was ranked 8th on the first tier list due to his poor matchups into higher ranked characters and his lack of tournament presence. However, dedicated Yoshi players like Prince, Karaba, and Melee player Wizrobe would start to use the character, showing off his strongest points in tournaments such as Super Smash Con 2022, won by Karaba. Karaba in particular is known as the best Yoshi of all time, and was a large contributor to Yoshi rising up to 6th place, then to 5th on the 4th and current tier list, cementing him as a high tier character at the bottom of A tier. Opinions on Yoshi have been getting even better since, and players think he may have surpassed Fox to take top 4. When Super Smash Bros. Melee rolled around, players were incredibly pessimistic about Yoshi's placement. He received numerous nerfs from Smash 64, such as his removed ability to jump out of shield hurting his out of shield game. His grab game has been nerfed even more, with the shield grab and throws being much worse, and a lot of his KO power and damage output have been brought down, making him less consistent than in Smash 64. On top of this, his poor attributes due to his differences to the rest of the cast still haunted him, and weren't cancelled out by great strength in other areas anymore. Back in Melee's earlier days, Yoshi had a few players, but Yumi from Japan and Bringer of Death from Australia repped the character in Melee's early days. He kept his double jump cancel and shield counter, which is more widely known as parry in Melee, and egg throw is more flexible in this game. However, these were underdeveloped in these days and largely written off as gimmicks, causing Yoshi's players to abandon him, and sadly, the character dropped from his early placement of 13th to 22nd out of 26th, landing him a bottom tier placement and leaving him to dust on the shelf. A few years later, players like Vector Man picked Yoshi back up. These players pushed Yoshi's punish game forward, proving DJC as a solid tool and making egg throw a better zoning and edgeguarding tool. However, as players started to adapt to this new character, Vector Man eventually moved on from Yoshi, and Leffen stopped using his Yoshi secondary, leaving Yoshi in the dark once again. In these days, Yoshi was possibly one of the saddest characters in Melee. Coming off of a respectable performance in Smash 64, his nerfs just seemed to make him a character that lacked a lot of what others had. Only one double jump to recover with, contrary to Jigglypuff's incredible air game making up for her lack of an up B, the inability to jump out of shield in exchange for a parry that's incredibly hard to time, and an all-around hard time dealing with pressure, exacerbated by these two glaring flaws. Yoshi is a character that rewards not just holding forward, but careful and skilled holding forward. Yoshi needed a dedicated, strong, and consistent player if he was ever to get out of the bottom tiers. Luckily, someone special was on the horizon. don't have time in this video to go over Amza's life story, but this great video by Awesome Sauce that I'm showing on screen is great for those who want a more in-depth explanation. Amza was, of course, a Yoshi main, but not any old Yoshi main. He showed off all of the character's best traits that nobody had truly respected before his peak in the post-COVID era of Melee. With good movement across the board, a great wave dash, double jump armor paired with amazing use of DJC and parry, and Yoshi's great weight, Amza had much more to work with than one would expect. Due to factors already explained, Yoshi's best attribute is his air game. He's fast in the air, pretty floaty, and of course has the most versatile double jump in the game. With kill moves in nair and up air, a great spike with fair, and a very nice dare that can rack up lots of damage if all of its hits connect, Yoshi's air game was nothing to scoff at. While he may struggle off stage due to his one recovery move, the armor on double jump made it deceptively hard to edgeguard him, and Melee's introduction of directional air dodging gave him an extra tool to make it safely back onto the stage. Yoshi isn't just good in the air though, as his great wave dash and myriad of grounded approach options and moves like egg throw gave him a great ground game. Chief among these is down smash, which comes out on frame 6 and boasts an amazing semi-spike angle, making it good for not only edge guarding but for finishing combos. Down tilt did something similar, instead being better for setting up tech chases due to its lower end lag. F tilt and up tilt were great combo moves, though F tilt was more versatile due to up tilt's reliance on the enemy being a certain percent to reliably set up KO confirms. Amza's rise would start slowly, with him picking the game up in late 2013, learning all about Yoshi's quirks and using them to his advantage. He played in a few locals before heading to EVO, notably taking a game off of god-level player Mewtwo King and eventually placing 25th. Not bad at all for such a prestigious tournament. He ended 2013 ranked in the top 100 with Yoshi. At Apex 2014, he saw a 9th place finish with Kings of Cali 4 the same year, netting him a 5th place. He notably was able to take a whole set off of Mewtwo King at this tournament. Apex 2015 was the largest Melee tournament yet, with over 1,000 participants, and despite Amza being a little preoccupied with the rest of his life, he was still able to have a great performance there. By now, Amza had single-handedly brought Yoshi's rank from F tier all the way up to 12th, and his run wasn't stopping anytime soon. At Smash Summit 6 in 2018, he would beat Hungrybox in his prime, giving him the momentum he needed to keep rising, propelling Yoshi and himself all the way to 9th place on the Melee PGR 2018, cementing him as top 10 in the entire world. He would then place 4th at Genesis 6, notably getting a 3-0 on Mango in Losers. He would then go on to beat him again at Smash and Splash 5, then again at SSC 2019. He even snagged another set win against the still top 1 H-Box, showing his consistency and ability to be a real tournament threat. While COVID would be a big road bump for Amza, as he had started competing full-time, he would come back strong in 2021 despite doubts about his tournament performance. He'd start rough with a 9th place at Smash Summit 11, but would soon return to form with 5th places at 3 more majors afterward. He would ramp all the way up to a 1st place finish at one of the most stacked tournaments of all time, Big House 10. All of these results are the sole reason Yoshi is where he is today at 10th out of 26 characters in Melee, sitting at B+ as a viable character and cementing Amza as the only Yoshi who could do it. Super Smash Bros. Brawl is a very different game from Melee, however, and one where Yoshi was, again, complicated. When Brawl was current, Yoshi hadn't seen his development at the hands of Amza and Melee yet, which caused him to be seen as a much better character. In the air, Egg Throw gave him a bit of height, greatly improving its use as a recovery tool and softening the blow of directional air dodges being removed. His grab game is now better due to having a grab release combo on a good chunk of the cast. However, Yoshi suffered greatly from the removal of his advanced tech. While he did get a pseudo wave dash called Dragonic Reverse, that doesn't nearly make up for DJC and parry being removed, severely hurting his combo game. He still can't jump out of shield, making his out of shield game still awful. He had very few approach options despite his good speed and projectile, and if he could get in, he only had like 3 kill moves, those being up air, F smash, and sometimes nair. Yoshi got a ranking of 32nd out of 38 on the first Brawl tier list, and his terrible traits compared to everyone else understandably made him look really awful in the eyes of pretty much everyone. Poltergust, a retired player, picked up Yoshi, and was considered to be the best Yoshi in the world. However, after getting him to his current placing of 27th, Poltergust would move on from Brawl, and without an Amza level player and missing all the stuff that actually let Amza achieve results, this iteration of Yoshi remains there to this day. In Smash 4, Nintendo decided to finally cut Yoshi a bit of slack. Over the course of the series so far, his shield has been the biggest thing separating him from the rest of the cast, and while it wouldn't really make sense to completely unify Yoshi's shield with everyone else's, he got a few buffs that he greatly appreciated. Yoshi is able to jump out of his shield again, and his shield grab is much faster, making his out of shield game at least not bottom 1. While he still can't shield drop through platforms and his spot dodge has been nerfed, the changes to shield were overall great for Yoshi. Yoshi got quite a few nerfs as well, unfortunately. The general changes to grabbing removed his grab chains and grab release combos, and his pivot grab is a lot laggier, making his already lackluster grab game one of the worst in Smash 4. This, alongside nerfs to his airspeed, aerials, and his tilts being laggier, generally made a lot of Yoshi's tools more unsafe, precise, and generally worse. However, he was still better in Brawl due to having higher KO power and being generally stronger relative to the characters below him. At the beginning of Smash 4's life, Yoshi was regarded highly. He was a character that was said to have potential just like in the past, but he was just weird. Nobody really wanted to play him, and he suffered due to his lack of a tournament presence. He was ranked 15th on the first tier list in the mid-tier, still having strengths before Nintendo swooped in with their patches. Marth and Lucina surfaced over the course of Smash 4's life, and proved to be difficult matchups for our jolly green friend. The addition of DLC characters like Cloud, Corrin, and Bayonetta who exploited Yoshi's lackluster air game and approach options gave him more bracket demons, causing his already low usage to keep dropping. Yoshi just never really got better as the game went on, and characters like Dio and Ron from Japan, and Raptor, Seth, and Snoop from the US couldn't really salvage his viability. Nowadays, Yoshi has fallen to 33rd out of 54 characters in Smash 4 due to him being passed up by most of the patches, while characters around him got better or were just added in the game as superior picks, and Yoshi was left in the dust for the second game in a row. However, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was the game to finally cut Yoshi a bit of slack, and he took that and ran with it. First off, his generally poor KO power from previous titles has been buffed, with moves like F-Smash being better burst kill tools and F-Tilt and Bear setting up combos easier, with Bear even outright taking stocks at high percents. While Yoshi can still struggle to close out a stock, his weight and especially double jump armor can keep him alive. His floatiness helps him stall off stage and recover way easier, and double jump armor is a frame 1 option that can help him safely escape combos, akin to characters like Snake and Duck Hunt. The universal engine changes also benefited Yoshi, like they did for many of the previously mediocre veterans. His aerials have less landing lag, his mobility has generally improved thanks to Ultimate's faster engine, and things like universal jump squat and shield dropping, not to be confused with shield dropping, help him greatly. Directional air dodging is back as well, giving Yoshi a situational recovery tool. In early Ultimate, Yoshi was picked up by quite a few players due to his similarity to old appearances, mixed with the buffs he received. He was represented by quite a few players such as Meme from Mexico and Suarez from the US, as well as Japanese player Ron migrating from Smash 4. However, the meta developed quite a bit over the next few years, and as Yoshi's players started to fall off, his weaknesses became clear. Yoshi struggled to deal with disjoints, which Ultimate had quite a few of, and his recovery, while better than in any previous appearance, was still linear and exploitable. However, over in Japan, Yoshi players saw their rise akin to Melee, with Yoshi player Yoshidora picking up the character and quickly being recognized as a top threat, being the only Smash Ultimate Yoshi to place top 10, getting 8th on Loomerang 2023. When things looked bleak, Yoshi found a brand new Amza in this game, and with that, he rose to 14th out of 82 on the current Smash Ultimate tier list, resting at the bottom of A+ as a high tier. Thanks for tuning in to another one of these. This one was really interesting to research, but tough to focus on, and the next one might weirdly be the opposite. While Kirby was great in Smash 64, he was really not good in any other game. That's an episode for next week. Or the week after that, considering how these have gone. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to see more, and leave a comment talking about which version of Yoshi you like best. One question I have for you guys: who do you think is better between Yoshidora and Amza? Give me a little something to read as I write the Kirby script. Speaking of which, I should probably get on that now, so until next time, this is Shoot Kapow, over and out.